All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of us crazy, that ever-climbing price of your medical card. We're going to break down exactly why it's so expensive, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
You know the feeling, right? An official-looking envelope arrives, you open it, and there it is. Your medical insurance premium has gone up again. If you've been there, trust me, you are not alone.
And your first thought is probably something like this. Are they just being greedy? What's going on here? It's a totally fair question. But today, we're going to move past that frustration and get into some real answers and real strategies.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that shocking letter. Then, we'll dive into why these premiums keep going up. After that, the good stuff. We'll uncover the hidden controls in your policy, find some smart ways to cut costs, and finally, talk about planning for the future. Ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first things first. That letter you got, that price hike, it's not personal. It's happening to pretty much everyone. But, and this is the key, that doesn't mean you're powerless. Not at all.
Look, these increases are kind of a fact of life, especially once you hit your 40s and 50s, but they don't have to break your budget. The second you understand why the prices are rising, that's the moment you start to take back control. So, what's really going on behind the scenes? Well, it's not as simple as blaming corporate greed. It's actually a mix of three major forces all working together. Let's break them down one by one.
The first reason is, funnily enough, something we all actually want: better health care.
It's this thing called medical inflation. Here in Malaysia, it's almost always higher than regular inflation. Why? Because better healthcare is almost always more expensive healthcare. Think about it. Amazing new cancer treatments, super advanced surgical robots, more effective drugs. All these breakthroughs are incredible, but they come with a hefty price tag. And that cost has to get factored into our premiums.
Now, for the second reason. This one has less to do with technology and more to do with all of us, together.
You might think insurance companies are just swimming in profits from our medical cards. But here's a surprise. For a lot of them, it's actually a loss-making business. That's because more and more people are making claims, and those claims are for huge amounts. We're talking major surgeries or long-term treatments. To stay in business, insurers have to adjust premiums for everyone. This isn't just one company. It's happening across the entire industry.
And the third driver? Well, this one is the most personal of all.
It's your age. Simple as that. Your premium is usually priced in what they call age bands, like, say, from age 45 to 49. The day you turn 50, boom, you jump into the next band, and it's more expensive. It's not arbitrary. It's just risk. The older we get, the more likely we are to need medical care, and the premium reflects that higher risk.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. Think of your policy less like a rigid contract and more like a machine with a couple of powerful levers. You just need to know where they are and how to pull them.
The first big lever is the deductible. This is simply the amount of money you agree to pay out of your own pocket before the insurance company pays a single cent. So ask yourself, are you willing to cover, say, the first 500 or maybe even 5,000 ringgit of a hospital bill? If you are, your yearly premium could drop a lot. It's a trade-off. You take on a little more risk for some serious savings.
The second lever is the co-payment. This is where you agree to split the bill with the insurer. For example, you might pay 10% of the total cost and they cover the other 90%. It's all about sharing the risk. When you agree to take on a small piece of the cost, you're basically telling the insurance company you're a partner in keeping costs down, and they'll often reward you with a lower premium.
So, now we know what the levers are, let's get practical. This is your action plan, the stuff that you can actually do to start lowering that premium.
Here are 4 concrete strategies. Number 1, think about switching to a plan with a high deductible. This is a great idea if your job already gives you some basic coverage. 2, accept a copayment, especially if you're generally healthy and don't go to the hospital often. 3, review your actual coverage. Do you really need that private VIP room? Downgrading your room type can save you a surprising amount. And 4, build a medical sinking fund. It's just a fancy name for a dedicated savings account for smaller medical stuff, so you don't even have to make a claim.
All right, let's zoom out and talk about the long game. Because the moves you make in your 40s and 50s are, and I'm not exaggerating here, absolutely critical. This is your golden window to lock in your health and your insurability for the future.
Just look at what happens if you wait too long. If you try to get new or better coverage after you get diagnosed with something like high blood pressure, one of 3 things will happen.
They'll either load your premium, making you pay up to 50% more, they'll exclude that condition from your coverage completely, or they might just say no and decline your application altogether. The lesson is crystal clear. Get the coverage you need before you need it.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. Managing your health is managing your wealth. Your BMI, whether you smoke, your lifestyle choices, these aren't just things your doctor cares about. They are financial metrics that directly decide how much you pay to protect yourself. But what if you're nearing retirement and a full-on medical card is just getting way too expensive? You've still got options. A critical illness plan can be a lot cheaper, and it gives you a big lump sum of cash if you get diagnosed with a major illness. Another, more creative strategy is to use your life insurance. You can make your family members the beneficiaries, and if they pay your hospital bills for you, the life insurance payout can essentially pay them back later. But, and this is a huge but, they have to have enough cash on hand to pay the hospital first. That's the catch. So here's the bottom line. Don't just ignore those letters from your insurer. It's time to take a really good look at your policy. The whole point is to make sure your medical card is a shield that's protecting your future, not a slow leak that's draining your finances. So what's your next move going to be?